Good morning, people. How are we doing? It's, what day are we today? It's the 8th, Monday, the 8th of June, 2026. So hope we're all okay, guys. Not a bad morning up in the northeast of England. A little bit overcast and threatening of showers. But anyway, we're not too worried about that. As you well know, Middlesbrough is the drug capital of Europe. Apparently more drugs come through Middlesbrough than anywhere else in Europe. So very, very interesting. T-Sport, etc., etc., etc. Quick hello to everybody. So not many in today. We've got Chris Taylor's in, Nina's in, Glenn Pierce is in, Kate H is in, Livy's in, Jill's in, Karma's in as well. So good morning, everyone. Hope we're all okay. Loads and loads of stuff going on. Far more than a little short video can do, but very, very interesting things. A lot of people, of course, are focusing on what the police are not doing, i.e. Henry Novak, and we're not taking anything away from that whatsoever because it's absolutely outrageous. But what it is doing, of course, is once again pointing the finger at the lack of transparency with the police, also the accountability, which is a very important thing to remember. I think it was recently the Hampshire police chief said that he wasn't going to resign, which is, very interesting statement to make, especially in light of what's actually happened. So this accountability that everybody is clearly expecting with our upper echelons, I suppose, of people is basically not being adhered to, and these people think that they are going to continue to get away with it. Unfortunately, a freight train is coming down the line. I'm not sure what headline that freight train is going to be using, but of course it is coming. Interestingly enough, I've got 144 messages on the chat, and we've now got 11 people listening to what we're talking about. So this accountability, we had years ago, we had the outrage in regards to George Floyd. Everybody came out about this, and yet the same politicians are rather quiet when it comes to Henry Novak. Now, not that this really matters, but apparently Henry had dual citizenship in regards to being Polish. So that's a little interesting one that you may or may not have missed. Now, of course, as we well know, there's been a huge backlash in regards to what happened. Of course, we've had Wheelie Bin Gate, of course, and many other things that clearly are happening. So we've also got Andrew Mountbatten. Andrew Mountbatten, of course, is once again seen with a black eye. Looks like he's been roughed up a little. I'm wondering if this is some kind of a sort of a roughing up to basically force him to tell the truth or come out into the light, so to speak. So that will be very, very interesting. Just quickly going back to Henry, we need you to remember that Hampshire police attempted to frame Henry as a racist in regards to the said attack. And after the outrage by, of course, the family, the CPS also warned the Hampshire police to withdraw their accusations that Henry was in fact a racist. And then, of course, yesterday on the Laura Klunsberg show, a political show, we had the BBC very, very interestingly announcing the clear, should we say, guidelines and ideas that have been instilled into the police system, which clearly states that white people will be treated differently to, of course, ethnic minorities. It's in black and white, ladies and gentlemen. The police, the judiciary, it doesn't matter. The politicians can't deny it. It's in black and white. It clearly says that white people should be treated differently because they are white and they are not ethnic minorities. Or should we say ethnic minorities should be treated differently to white people. It's clear there, right in front of your, right in front of your eyes. There was a case as well a couple of days ago where the NHS also have been accused of treating people differently from a mental health point of view due to their colour. We of course can recall the incident in Nottingham where 3 people were killed by a mentally ill patient who was clearly mentally ill and needed sectioning, okay? Obviously, there's an argument in regards to money and funding, etc., etc. This guy wasn't sectioned due to his black colour. Now, that's no disrespect to black people whatsoever, but the person in question was mentally ill and should have been sectioned. Unfortunately, he wasn't because, of course, of the colour. Okay, very interesting, very, very interesting. And let's go to a little interesting one that's come out now. Apparently, anybody that is MK Ultra'd, especially famous people, are genuinely associated with being bleach blonde. Now, this is quite an interesting one, actually, because when you think about it, it's actually quite true. So let's go through some MK Ultra people, should we? Okay, let's first of all have a look at Diana Dawes, the British version of Marilyn Monroe. Marilyn Monroe, of course, as you well know, bleach blonde. Lots of questions in regards to Marilyn Monroe. Diana Dawes, of course, not so many questions because, of course, it was, apparently British, highlighted, etc. Jimmy Savile, very interesting, very interesting. Elvis Presley apparently was a bleach blonde at particular times. What about Britney Spears as well? It's actually quite an interesting theory, and we will of course keep our eye on that. Now, of course, we have our own we have our own people. Anybody seen him? Anybody heard from him? Anybody? Okay. A week ago, the Russians shut us down, apparently. Anybody heard anything? Anybody seen anything? Man's vanished like a fart in the fucking wind. Absolutely amazing. And of course, as we well know, lots of people, of course, are missing the very, very important stuff that is actually going on. Now, if you go to any mainstream media outlet, not so much on the front pages, but in the pages there will be numerous incidences and investigations into rape gangs and all kinds of things. You can find this. Oh, excuse me. You can find this. You can find this from Bradford to Leeds to down south. It doesn't really matter. There is a huge amount of people and also previous perpetrators that are being brought to account. Now, could this, of course, be linked to Judgment Day? Or should we say Judgment Year? Or maybe Judgment 5 years? And, of course, starting at the bottom, of course, we then work our way upwards. Now, if you are very clever, 17 people in the house, if you are very clever, you will you should have all worked out now the basic the basic situation that Donald Trump finds himself in regards to bringing people to account. Now, we all heard the reports of little boats being destroyed. And can you remember this? Fast little speedboats being destroyed. Now, many people were arguing, well, what about the big boats? What about the big boats? Well, actually, it's very interesting that it is, of course, a very disruption. Now, I want you to imagine that all the people that are involved in the actual delivery of that little boat. Now, it might only be £5 million worth of drugs, which is not a lot really when you consider the drugs trade in total. However, it is a very significant blow to the people that are, of course, drug trafficking. Now, I want you to think about all of the people that don't get the drugs, all of the people that are not able to deal, all the people that are relying on that delivery and, of course, the money that is coming in from that delivery. So the people that deliver the drugs, of course, are expecting money. The people that are distributing the goods are also expecting a delivery of drugs, and that delivery of drugs is not there. So if the delivery of drugs is not there, the people that are distributing the drugs are not going to pay the deliverers. Very interesting. Now, that in its own, of course, is only a very small part of what is actually happening. Then, of course, if you start to target the financial system, especially London, then we start to see some very, very big changes. Now, if you have been paying attention and you have been doing your history lessons, you will, of course, have already noted that various organizations are very, very well connected and very, very well linked. Now, I want to really point you in the direction of the opium trade. As you well know, the opium trade has been going on for quite a while. It was, of course, and is, of course, still linked to, of course, royalty. Oh, yes. How do you think that they've gotten all of their money? Yes, it wasn't through legitimate means. The opium trade also, as well, is worldwide. It runs in Sicily, i.e. the mafia, and, China, the Chinese mafia, of course, the triads and all that kind of thing. And the opium trade was what started, of course, the arms trade. Now, of course, in order to protect the drugs, you need arms, you need weapons, you need helicopters, you need boats, you need all kinds of stuff. So one of them, of course, feeds the other. And of course, you will be not surprised that various banks were set up to basically money launder the money and put that money back into the system. Okay, HSBC comes to mind, Santander comes to mind, all kinds of other things come to mind, and of course, you also need, not only do you need the drugs, of course, but you also need a network. You need a network of people. You need a network of interesting characters, of course. And so that network, of course, spreads throughout the world. And of course, you need a delivery system. How would you deliver drugs? Well, of course, it's shipping. As you well know, Hillary Clinton has been linked, of course, to Evergreen. That was her little handle. Evergreen, of course, is the multi-million billion-dollar shipping business. Hapag Lloyd is another one. Very interesting. You will see these containers driving up and down the streets of Britain and motorways of Britain. Very openly. Now, there are of course, obviously goods and that are being shipped legitimately, but then underneath that there is a large drug trafficking network and also child trafficking, and now of course in latter years we have the organ trafficking and of course, sadistic paedophile trafficking, of course. So it's all linked together. And if you have any intelligence about you whatsoever, this is now becoming more and more prevalent and more into your awareness. But not only your awareness, but also many other people are becoming more and more aware of this situation. And of course, if you have had the dark night of the soul, and you will of course know that waking up or to the reality of the world that you actually exist in is a very, very scary thing. I can actually vouch for that very much, because there were times during the period of the COVID when I didn't sleep for many days, and it was a gradual process of coming to the conclusion, even though I didn't really want to. But it was coming to the conclusion that this world is definitely not what it appears to be. Now, of course, from being very young, I have always had that little notion about it. It didn't make any sense. I didn't fit in, which, of course, will be very reminiscent of most of you on here. And that not fitting in, it not feeling quite right, it never felt like home. It feels like you're from somewhere else. You feel completely, I wouldn't say alienated, but you feel completely alone. And it's a very interesting feeling, but it's also a very unusual one too. And it also was highlighted by the dark night of the soul, even more so when you feel that you are completely alone in the world. And yes, anyway, I'm not going to go into that too much because I don't think there's really much point. However, like I was saying to one of my clients the other day, I said, do you believe in obviously evil, or evil exists in the world? And she, of course, said, yes, I do. And I said, so when we think about yin and yang, when we think about the universe, when we think about the things that have gone off, we have to come to conclusion that there is also an opposing force that is working on the side of the good. Now, the problem that we've got is that the mainstream institutions, of course, are working on the dark side. The lighter side, or the good side, is not very well represented. However, the light side is more powerful than the dark. Okay? You cannot shine darkness on light. It's impossible. You can do it the other way around. You can shine the light on the darkness, but you can't shine dark on the light. It's impossible from a physics point of view. And so, even though it may appear on the surface that we are losing, in actual fact, we are not. We are actually very, very, very well in front of the curve. And that, of course, brings us to us ourselves personally as a group of people. The question that a lot of people ask is, why me? My answer to that is, well, why not you? Who else is going to do it? You know, who else is going to do it? There isn't anybody else. Okay, nobody else is sticking their neck out. Nobody else is putting their head above the parapet. Okay, so get out of this shit, right? Who's going to do it? You're going to do it. We're going to do it. We're all going to do it together as a collective. And the more and more that we do that, the more and more people will join us, and the more and more people will wake up, and the more and more people will make that mental change from the darkness and come into the light, so to speak. Imagine yourself as a lighthouse. A lighthouse. You are showing the way. We are the first ones on the beach. We are the first ones on the beach of a new world, and we are welcoming new people onto the beach, okay, for the first time. We are protecting them, we are guiding them, we are shining the light on that beach so that people can land safely and they can be integrated into a new reality, a new world, a new whatever you want to call it. We all have our own ideas about what is going on, but please do not entertain the darkness. Do not entertain dark people. Do not entertain that ideology, because, ladies and gentlemen, it's crumbling. You can see this now clearly. Clearly, the dark people are panicking. Like massively. This is not just something that you can't see. This is something that is like in your face, like proper in your face. You can't deny it. You know, from Keir Starmer to Donald Trump to President Putin, you join the dots together. This place is crumbling, and of course, as the place crumbles, of course, a phoenix rises out of the ashes. Who those phoenixes are, and I say phoenixes because, of course, it's a collective term. Very interesting. Anyway, on this joyous Monday morning, whether or not you believe that or not is, of course, entirely up to your own mindset. I haven't got control of that, and I don't really want to. I've only got control of my own mind and my own thoughts and my own process, and so I am fully embracing that myself. I suggest you do the same as well. I suggest that you look for the positive and fuck the negative, and fuck all of the negative people that continue to talk about the negative fucking shit, i.e. the New World Order, i.e. this is going to happen, that's going to happen, yeah, Okay, so on that note, I'm going to get myself off. Enjoy your day. Have a great Monday. It's always going to be an interesting day as we move forward. And so we will see you all again a little bit later on for maybe a more in-depth look at the world as we know it. Anyway, take care. Love you loads. See you soon.